Have a seat. It's time for Two Guys Garage. Kevin Byrd
and Bryan Fuller.
Here we are at your service. Today we got maintenance.
Yeah, we got a whole full-size SUV here with a host of problems. We're going to deep dive into the power steering system, show you the inside of some pumps, how they work, get into the fuel system a little bit, some fuel injectors.
Getting down and dirty. Hold on. Got your basic 96 Tahoe, you know, it's got the noises coming out of the power steering pump.
Yeah, it's got the puddles underneath, so finally going to replace that radiator we've been putting off for a while. But what's nice is getting this radiator and fan shroud out of the way. It's going to make the job on the power steering a little bit more easy.
Yeah, and while we're at it, I don't know if you looked around, but the shop is looking snazzy. I mean, woo! We got this new floor from You Coated. All brand new with the flex and the blue. Feel like I'm kind of hanging out in an aquarium.
You got a lot of different combinations, and the fleck is nice because it doesn't show off all of our messes so much.
Yeah, we put a lot of abuse through this stuff. And then show them our new storage boxes.
Check it out. We are now officially open for business. Yeah, we have a whole slew of product from Waterloo, and it's great. They've got a giant selection, so you can basically customize your shop, rearrange and order just about anything you need.
Now, if you look over in this corner, check out, we took a storage cabinet, the stainless top we got from Waterloo. Makes a nice work table that you can use. If you look at these storage cabinets up here, these are also on the slat board, which you've seen all around the shop. Come around, oh, you got shelves and baskets and hooks for anything you need. These guys have been around for 80 years making stuff for pro guys, do-it-yourselfers, and all different colors. It's expandable, but enough show and tell. It's time to get back to the power steering.
All right, enough showing off the shop. It's time to do some real work. I'm pulling the pump out, the power steering pump. I got my lines dropped, so I'm draining my fluid. And I got to actually pull the pulley off to get the pump out. Now, always make sure you use a real remover and installation tool. Otherwise, you'll really mess up some parts. You know, you really want to avoid using the bolt and the washer technique. This is such a simple thing to do. It just grabs right here on this collar. You slip the sleeve around the outside. And once you tighten up this inner bolt relative to the outer, you can get a couple wrenches on it. Just start working it. That guy will pop right off of there.
While Bird's getting the old pump out of there and making himself into a dirty bird, I'm going to show you the Cardone remanufactured brand new pump that we're going to replace with. And they call this MagnaPure because they actually have a built-in filtration system, which is really cool. And I'm going to show you where that is right here, and it's on the return side. This is your pressure side. That's where you're making the power when you're turning. And look in here, I'm going to pull it out because this is a really cool cutaway. There's a magnet and there's a little filter. So that's going to grab a lot of debris when the fluid's coming back in.
Speaking of dirt and debris,
Wow.
I got the dirty whiner here.
Didn't your hands used to be white?
Yeah, they used to be white. So before we throw this thing away, we're going to pull a couple of brackets off, and that'll get transferred over to the reman pump. We got new seals and everything, so everything is all good. And you know, we might want to take the cap with us.
That would be a good idea.
Might make a mess without it.
Now, getting back into this cutaway, let me show you some of the really important features. Now, when Cardone gets this thing in, they'll blow it apart. They're going to measure this shaft right here. That shaft diameter is very important, that it's a specific size. And there are journals right here that are important that it stays very clean. Next to it, here is where the pumping action happens. It's kind of like a cam. We've got a couple of old style here, and you can imagine this old thing running around. I mean, you could throw rocks in that, it would probably still pump. This is a little more, it's a spring-loaded version. There are little springs there you can see. This is a little bit newer. It's bigger, but man, right down in here, I mean, it's teeny. Those little bitty veins, it's amazing. They're doing all that pumping. So the tolerances are really, really important.
Yeah.
And keeping it clean is really important. One more thing before we get out, I wanted to show you the pressure relief valve. Now this guy, when you bottom out, you go to the dead end of it, you're making a lot of pressure. Think about 1,500 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. And this is a pressure relief valve. So that'll let that pressure off so you don't grenade your pump. Now when they get this is really important too. It's nice. They actually go back in and machine it out and put a little bit of a sleeve in there to make sure those tolerances stay either at or better than OE. So this is a really nice quality unit.
Yeah, and speaking of tight tolerances, you know, a little debris gets through that system and it can trash the whole thing, even a new pump. You know, another thing that can ruin a pump or a system is improper fluid. So 40%, you know, of failures are typically due to debris or fluids. So when we come back, we're going to get a little bit more in detail about, you know, the types of fluids you want to use, how to install and flush this thing properly, and a little bit about filtration.
This segment of Two Guys Garage is brought to you by iBrakeParts.com. For all of your braking needs, look to iBrakeParts.com, your online stopping destination.
Don't get too dizzy.
That was like a carnival ride.
Wow. Welcome back. We're here with our Cardone remanufactured Magna Pure power steering pump. And we're going through and showing you all the kind of the pieces and parts. As this works, the reason they call it Magna Pure is that they have a magnetic filtration system that goes on the return side of all these pumps.
Yeah, and here's the inside look of that same pump. It's got the screen filter magnetically stuck to the housing here. Nice and happy, and if you build a little bit too much pressure, it'll let go and let some of that relief go by. So it's a nice design system. What if you don't have a metal container in our housing, you got a plastic one in this Ford unit? Well, you got a sort of an insert here that's basically got the same sort of feature in it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Put right in there. So always on the return side, it's filtering through continually. So it's always making sure that clutter is taken care of. Now, what if you don't want to replace a new, to a new pump because you haven't failed yours yet, but you want to get that filtration system in there? You can put it in line. So you just basically splice into your return line, and you can stick this real nice filter in here. It's a high quality aluminum body. It's got real nice edges here, so it bites really good on the hose. You still want to use a hose clamp, but it's going to give you a good seal. What's nice about these is that they're serviceable. So you can go in here, pop the C-clip off, and you can wiggle that guy out, and there you go. You've got your relief spring, your filter, and your magnet.
That's a nice piece.
Yeah, so it's super easy to put into your car too.
And we put together a little bit of display model here. Someone did, we didn't. And what you've got is little balls. They've got an orifice in them, kind of simulating the viscosity of each one of these fluids. The one that runs fast is cheap, and you can see the one that's moving slow is a good high quality unit.
Yeah, no, these are real off-the-shelf power steering fluids that you'd put in your vehicle, and you can see the difference in what you can buy on the shelf. Doesn't mean that's what you want to put in your vehicle. Now, nobody regulates power steering fluid.
What?
Yeah, imagine that. So quality can vary all over the place. So you want to check with your OEM first to figure out what type of fluid, because just because it's power steering doesn't mean it's power steering fluid. The OEM will recommend exactly what they want to run, and if you want, you can get on Cardone's website, and they've got a whole list, because they'll benchmark all the OEM fluids and everything out there that's either at or above, so you have a selection that you can do to make sure you get the right fluid, it's got the right viscosity, it's got the right friction modifiers, and even things like anti-foaming agents, so you don't build up a lot of foam and air, cavitate your pump, really make a lot of noise, and wear the pump out prematurely.
Yeah, a couple of dollars can go a long way.
Oh yeah.
All right, well, we need to get that thing back in now, so let's get to it.
Okay.
Got our power steering pump bolted back in, and we've got our AC in. Now it's time for our new Wizard cooling radiator. Look at that.
Yeah, nice. Now it's important, this unit here, it's doing triple duty. Not only is it taking care of the engine cooling, it's got the transmission cooler embedded in it and the engine oil cooler. So want to make sure that's in good shape, working properly, and we'll get it installed here, and I'll show you this cool little tool. Sort of an old school tool that a lot of you guys probably haven't seen. Oh, got pinched hose in here.
There we go.
Dropping in nice.
This thing's so pretty in this car. I almost hate to put it in.
I know, we might have to start cleaning up some of the rest of this truck. Now here's a neat little tool, and you can see it's got a little clampy action there. Now, not such a big deal on a top radiator hose, because you can probably get to it with a pair of pliers, but a little click there, this guy will lock in, just like that. Now you've got your clamp expanded. You can put this guy right on, kind of like this. And then when you're happy with everything, you can just slide your clamp on, flick the lever, and release.
Nice job. All right, we're gonna go ahead and button up this radiator system. We come back, we're gonna show you the proper way to flush your power steering fluid, so hold on. Welcome back. Now we're gonna show you the proper way to flush your power steering. And first thing is, you don't wanna put a dry pump in. You wanna make sure that you go ahead and prime it. You put a little bit of fluid in and turn it by hand. That's gonna make sure you get the bearing surfaces coated. Now the second thing you wanna do is we're gonna do a flush. And this flush involves using a high quality power steering fluid. And we've checked on our list, if you remember earlier in the show, Cardone has a list of approved high viscosity type fluids. We've picked this Mag 1. Now this Mag 1 is it's good in low temp, it's good in high temp, it's got high performance through all temperature ranges. And we're gonna go ahead and put some in. We've taken the return hose, and that comes off of the rack and pinion, and we've draped it down into this pan down in the bottom. Now Byrd's inside the car, we've disconnected the coil so it doesn't run. He's gonna bump it over for about 20 seconds. You ready in there?
I'm ready, man.
All right, let's try it. He's gonna turn the wheel side to side while he's cranking, and that's gonna help move the old fluid out and put the new fluid in. Now, this is a two-man job, reason being, you wanna make sure you keep this level up and you don't get any air in the system. As soon as you start seeing the clear, then you know that you've got all new fluid in the system. All right, you got it. You got it, perfect.
Good,
Okay.
nice and clean.
Yeah, now it's clear. So we got rid of all the old fluid. We've used a nice new fluid that we're gonna use as the flushing agent. And at this point, we need to button up the return hose, put it back onto the pump, and we're gonna go ahead and bleed.
We're almost done with our 3F process. First, it's filtration, whether it's in the return line or in the pump like we've got.
And we've got fluid, Mag 1 premium OEM quality here that we put in.
Yep, and the next part is the flush, which we just did. You want to make sure to turn those wheels so you're actually moving and picking up that debris from all the corners and pushing it out. And if you put it on those automatic machines, the flushers, make sure you don't just walk away. Turn the wheel so you do the same process. One thing, you guys make big mistakes out there.
Whoa, brake clean. Don't want to use that.
Yeah, these are Viton and Buno seals in the power steering, not EPDM-like seals in your brakes. So you spray that, even on the front side of that pump, you're going to hit that seal, boom, it's going to start swelling. Same thing with the rack, the gearbox. Take your carburetor cleaner, brake cleaner, and leave it on the shelf. Use a degreaser and you'll be set. Wiring gremlins are a breeze if you got the right tools and the right techniques. One of our favorite tools in the shop, the Power Probe 3. It's great. By hooking it to the battery, not only can I check continuity, I can check for power, or I can actually deliver it to a device. You know, I've got this underhood light here that's just not working, so I'm just going to quickly throw power to it by the Power Probe, and I can see that all this circuit's good. I can start making my way, you know, maybe to the underhood switch.
Now Power Probe makes a new tool. This is a power and continuity tester, and I'll show you how easy it is to turn on. All you do is hit that. Now it's on. Hit your light. That's pretty cool. Check your volume. And we've got a horn that's not working. So the easy way to test is we want to come to the fuse and want to check power. So we got power on that side. Ooh, I say power on the other side. So now we know, because we have power on both sides of the fuse, there's continuity. Now we're going to check the relay. It's really easy to test the relay.
Yeah, now I've got power on my Power Probe, so I can come in here with power, and I can hear it, and I can feel it in my hands, but now at the continuity checker, we can double check to make sure we've actually got continuity across the other leads there.
Yeah, relay works, it adds power, connects a bridge, but what if the bridge is corroded? This is just a good way to check and see. All right.
Yeah, so I'm going to put power.
Oh.
Nice,
Good
so we've got a
relay.
good relay, yep.
So we either have a horn button down, or somewhere between here and the horn itself is a problem. So why don't we check the horn?
Yeah, since it's a little bit harder to get into the button, why don't you throw that guy back in there, and I'll take the continuity checker.
All right.
And what's great about this, you know, we've got the 10-foot lead, the 20-foot lead. I can wander around anywhere on the vehicle I want, and all I got to do is find anywhere that's got a ground, which is just about everywhere. And I'll put my probe back on it, and I can come down here to my little connector. I've got continuity to ground, and if I put it in my power side, Bryan hits the horn, I got power. So we know the whole circuit works all the way up to that horn. It's a piece of cake. All we got to do is throw a new horn at it.
Yeah, it's cool with the two different sounds too. You can know what you have, one versus the other.
Yeah.
Another fun tool.
Absolutely. Hope you enjoyed it. We're going to take a break.
If you're stuck on the side of the road with an overheating problem, what should you do? Before you take off the radiator cap, make sure you squeeze the top radiator hose to see how much pressure is built up. When adding new coolant, if you use 50/50 antifreeze instead of just plain water, you will have a higher boiling point, so next time your car may not overheat as fast. Overheating problems can be tough to diagnose, but if you find that your cooling system is leaking, get a radiator stop leak, like this one from Byrd Leaks. You don't have to flush out the system, just pour Byrd Leak into the radiator, and in a few minutes, your leak is sealed. As a bonus, the extreme cool lowers the water temperature. This tip is brought to you by Byrd Leaks, affordable solutions to expensive automotive repairs.
Welcome to the break room. Not very often that we have free stuff here, and today we got Classic Parts of America catalogs.
Yeah, not just one free, but 6 catalogs covering from 1947 all the way to 1998. So pretty much anything you need for your Chevy truck, Classic Parts of America has got you covered.
Yep, sheet metal, stereos, any kind of interior parts, all in this thing. Nice thing is too, I like, is that they're broken down into like a couple of year increments.
Yeah, and you know, you can get the catalogs for free, or you can just get online and order it yourself. Now they're located in the Midwest, so it's only going to be 1 to 3 days to get your parts, and they've been doing this for almost 3 decades. So they know everything about these trucks and how to get you covered.
You know what that one is?
I'm saying late 40s?
47 to 53. And you can get these, all kinds of other parts from Classic Parts of America. Up next from Aiken Chemical Company, it's the Purple Power Prime Shine Dust Off Wheel Cleaner.
That's right, you can't be rolling down the road with those dirty old wheels. This stuff is great. You can just spray it on, it does all the work for you. It'll just start washing off, you hose it down. What's great, it's got a nice, sort of protective layer, so it won't attract that dust. It'll make your wheels look really good for a really long time.
These are good for ABS plastic, chrome, anodized finish, and factory clear-coated wheels.
That's right, now they got a whole line of products, so anything you need to do to clean, make your ride look good, these guys got you covered. It's Purple Power, it's the Dust Off Wheel Cleaner. Just when you've seen it all with battery chargers, the hang up on the wall kind, the small kind, Deltran battery tender comes out with the solar panel.
Green and clean. That's all self-contained. It's waterproof, it's spark-proof, and it's got a self-contained unit right here that does all your automatic 3-step functions. So literally just take it outside, mount it on top of your RV. You could put it next to your jet skis, your boat, whatever you have, plug it in.
That's right, because you don't always have a 5-mile extension cord, And those toys you got, you can't always use them every day. You can't keep them charged up like normal. So all that stuff that you love that maybe you don't get to use all the time, this guy's, taking care of you while you're not even paying attention.
Yep. This model is 12 volt, 10 watt. You can also get a 5 watt or a 15 as well.
Yeah, it's got a 5-year warranty, so it's protected for a long time. It's going to take care of all your goodies for a really long time. And the best part about it, you're ready to play. That's my favorite part.
Get in, turn the key from battery tender. Hold on right now, we gotta take a break. We'll be right back.
For more information about anything you've seen on today's show, check out speed.com or visit TwoGuysGarage.com.
Now, we talked a lot about filtration on the power steering system. Well, it's also important on other systems like the fuel system. So we've got a little bit of rough idle going on with the truck, and we haven't quite gotten through all the diagnostics yet, but one thing we're going to do is go ahead and throw a fuel filter on. Now, I know a lot of you out there cannot raise your hand that you've changed your filter in the last 50K. It's pretty simple. You can do it at home. A couple of wrenches, line wrenches work best. You don't round them out. And on some of the newer stuff, they got quick release hoses, and you can get some real simple tools like this, and they'll slip over the line, and you can just insert them in, pop the little release spring, boom, the lines pop off. Piece of cake. Now what that does is it keeps all that debris and things from moving their way forward into some of the more high dollar stuff like your injectors. Now this is a sort of a neat system on this vehicle. It kind of bridged the gap between throttle body injection and multi-port fuel injection like you think of with the individual injectors up on the rail. Now this is what we got on the truck here, and it's somewhat called the Spider. It's a central SFI system. Now if you look in here, mean, they're tiny little holes, tiny little orifices with little needles and seats and things. So you get debris in there and you're going to have some troubles. Now this is kind of a neat piece from Bostech. Now they do a lot of reman injectors, everything from your domestics and foreigns, you name it. And what they'll go through is they'll save you a lot of money from having to buy new, which is great. And they'll go through and they'll replace all the things that either go wrong with the original injector or the type, or things that go wrong over time, like some of the plastic connectors, the hoses, fuel regulators, that sort of thing. Now this guy fits up underneath the intake manifold. You can see the fuel in and out, the regulator as I mentioned. And some of the things you want to check to figure out if you need to replace injectors are things like rough idle and stuff. Once you've eliminated that it's your electrical system, spark plugs, wires, and coils, you can look at things like fuel trim. One of these might be a little bit clogged or sticking, and all of a sudden this bank is now going to be running richer because your O2 sensor is going to try to compensate. So now you're throwing a lot of extra fuel through the engine out the tailpipe, which now that's a lot of dollars.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of fuel economy that can be picked up by maintaining your system, all the way up to the injector side. So Bostech can help you out. They got all the American, reman stuff right here in the States. Call them up and they can pretty much set you up. You might not get the spider, but you will get the parts that you need.
It really is one freaky looking piece,
I know,
man.
it's a
That's
crazy
trip.
little guy.
Well, we're out of time. That was a fun show. It was cool to see inside that Cardone power steering pump. Never actually seen inside, see what's going on. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. The MagnaPure, it's a good way to show you about how the filtration is important, and I'm hoping you learned a little bit about the proper fluids.
Yep. Got to play around with some cool tools like the power probe.
Yep, we got the new version, which is always fun.
And we got to make sure we thank Waterloo and U-Coat for helping us blow out our garage and do it at a good cost too, which is nice.
Yeah, we got a great start, a lot of cabinetry already in, but as you saw, we got a lot of bare walls left that we can play around with. More shelving, more cabinets, more hooks and brackets and things, so it's going to be fun as the season goes on to keep adding on to it.
Always more to do. That's why we come back next week.
Yep.
See ya.
See you guys.